Do you want to work faster and get consistent results time after time? Photoshop offers many built-in features to accomplish this. Let's take a look at how they work. One of the biggest ways to speed up Photoshop doesn't require a faster computer or a memory upgrade. It's learning to use keyboard shortcuts at every opportunity. Nothing slows you down more than mousing over to the Tools panel or up to the menu bar. Photoshop already contains dozens of ready-made shortcuts, but a number of items still don't have them, and you may find that some of the built-in shortcuts are simply too cumbersome or too difficult to remember. In this lesson, we'll see how to replace existing shortcuts and assign new ones to items that don't have any. Let's get started by going up to the Edit menu and scrolling all the way down to Keyboard Shortcuts. Notice that any menu item already assigned a shortcut displays that shortcut to the right of the menu name. So let's click on Keyboard Shortcuts. And I want to point out before we get started that we can actually affect three different types of shortcuts. If I go here to the pull down menu, we can look at application menus, that's everything that's in the menu bar. We can look at panel menu shortcuts, and we can look at tool shortcuts. I'll select tools here first. And this gives us a scrollable list of every single tool that's in the Tools panel. Now, I don't recommend that you change the tool shortcuts for a couple of reasons. One, tool shortcuts have to be single letter keyboard shortcuts. And Photoshop has long ago run out of letters of the alphabet. So everything here from A to Z is already spoken for. So the only way to add a new keyboard shortcut to a tool is to take a shortcut from an existing tool. So it's not really going to be helpful there because all you're doing is switching around letters, and that can get quite confusing if you find yourself working on someone else's machine or a different copy of Photoshop. So let's go back up to this menu and let's take a look at panel menus. Now this shows us a list of every panel that shows up in the window menu. And the beauty here is that the vast majority of panel menu items do not have keyboard shortcuts. So let's go here and take a look at the Adjustments panel. We'll click the triangle to open it up. And I'll scroll down here. There's Curves Adjustment Layer. Now if you find yourself using that quite often, you can apply a keyboard shortcut simply by clicking here, and we've got an empty box. This box is where we're going to type our keyboard shortcut. Now, what values can you use for a keyboard shortcut? Well, we've seen that single letters are already taken, and because Photoshop does have dozens and dozens of existing keyboard shortcuts, it's very rare that you're going to find a single keystroke available to use. So what we're going to concentrate on here is using modifier keys. The Shift, Option, and Command keys on a Mac, that would be Shift, Control, and Alt keys on Windows, in combination with the F keys, the function keys. So if we want to set a shortcut for curves, here I'm going to select Option F1. On Windows that would be Alt F1. Simply press the Accept button and that shortcut is now applied to curves. Let's take a look here at levels, and if we want to add a shortcut for levels, you may be wondering what happens if you choose a shortcut that is already in use. Well, Photoshop will give us a warning. So let's choose here Option F9. On Windows that would be Alt F9. And we get a warning icon. It says that Option F9 is already in use by the Actions menu underneath the Window menu. So we can choose to override this by simply clicking the Accept button up here. Or we've got another option down here, Accept and go to Conflict. If we click Accept and go to Conflict, that Option F9 is assigned to levels, and we are taken immediately to the menu item that used to have that shortcut. So we could give another shortcut here to replace the one that we just removed. Let's see here if we do, let's try Shift Command and maybe F2. Let's see. Now we do get a warning, but this one is slightly different. It's simply telling us that this Shift Command F2 can be assigned to actions. We're going to talk about actions in the very next lesson, and if you do apply this shortcut to an action, it will override this choice here. We can accept that for now, so we'll just press the Accept button. And again, you can go through here and look for any items that you use frequently that do not have shortcuts. The goal here is not to apply a shortcut to every single item that's in this list. We don't have that many key combinations available. we're simply looking for items that we use frequently that don't have shortcuts. Now, what happens if an item that we do use a lot does have a shortcut, but it's really hard for us to remember? Well, let's go here. We'll stay in application menus, and let's go up to the edit menu. That's always got some long keyboard shortcuts in it. We'll scroll up here, open up edit, and let's find a good one here. Well, let's take a look at content aware scale. Option Shift Command C on a Mac. That would be Alt Shift Control C on a Windows machine. Let's click in here, and if we want to try to find something that's a bit more user friendly, let's see what we can come up with here. We can choose Command F2. Now that's a much simpler keyboard shortcut to remember, and again the warning here is simply telling us that this can also be used in an action. For now that's okay, so we'll press accept. We can press accept up here in the top, or we could press it down in the bottom left. So we'll do that. Puppet Warp, a brand new feature to CS5 that we will go into great detail in an upcoming lesson. Let's add a shortcut here, and let's use Shift Command F2, for example. Now, again, a warning that this is already in use. If we want to override that and permanently switch this, we can simply hit the accept button. Now, I want you to notice that up at the very top menu, our set initially said Photoshop Defaults. Now it says Photoshop Defaults Modified, and that's because we have changed these. Because we've made custom settings now, we really want to create a brand new set with these. So we're going to click over here to the Save As icon. It gives us a save dialog. The name is highlighted, prompting us to give it a new and unique name. Let's call this one TT Demo. Photoshop automatically selects the proper folder to save this in. It's called Keyboard Shortcuts, and we'll hit the Enter key to invoke the Save button. Now, in this top menu, we have Photoshop Defaults here, and we now have our TT Demo that we've just saved. You'll notice here that I have already made my own shortcuts, and I can simply click there to toggle between those, the Photoshop Defaults, and the shortcuts that we have just made. I highly recommend that you take some time setting up custom keyboard shortcuts. Every second that you spend here will pay dividends every time you work in Photoshop. Now here we've just gone and changed a couple of things at random, but I don't want you to keep these. I want you to really take your time on your own to select your own keyboard shortcuts. So with TT Demo selected here, we're going to simply press the trash can icon, and that will delete that set. We are being asked to confirm that's what we want to do. I'll press Enter to hit the Yes button, and we're back to our Photoshop defaults, and we'll hit OK.